All right, I'm going to read a very telling article, real recent this week, and to kind of, if possible, alleviate some fear that people might have, because people can stress themselves to death. Yes, people stress about things and worry themselves to death about things, and then in the coming days, those things they stressed about and stuff didn't even come to fruition. They stressed themselves out for nothing. So, in this modern age, a lot of people hold stock in Israel, that sliver of land that was renamed Israel back in the latter 40s. I reckon sometime around that neighborhood of time. 1947, I think maybe it was, or 48. That's either here nor there. I'm not going to get into that, but anyway. Put it this way, a lot of people hold stock in what comes out of that country, that land of they call Israel today. And they've done everything by the book. The vaccine, all the boosters. They've tried to do it right? The masks. Well, things have changed, and if this video is silenced, you're silencing this big dog here in Israel, because these are his words. So I'll read it to you and get right to the point. This is an article by the news affiliation called Unheard, and this was an interview done with Professor Cyrille Cohen. He is the head of immunology at Bar-Ilan University, and he's a member of the advisory committee for vaccines for the Israeli government. And in a wide-ranging and forthright interview, the professor tells this journalist, Freddie Sayers, this. The Green Pass, vaccine passport concept, is no longer relevant in the Omicron era and should be phased out. And he expects it to be in short order in Israel to be phased out. And as you can see today, more countries have phased it out. This Professor Dr. Cyrille Cohen goes on to say that he and his colleagues were surprised and disappointed that the vaccines did not prevent transmission as they had originally hoped. The biggest mistake of the pandemic in Israel was closing schools and education. This is this man's words. Widespread infection is now an inevitable part of future immunity, otherwise known as herd immunity. Omicron has accelerated the pandemic into the endemic phase, in which COVID will be like the flu. Especially with Omicron, where we do not see virtually any difference. There is a very narrow gap between people vaccinated and non-vaccinated. Both can get infected with a virus, more or less at the same pace. Are you going to eat a dirt cookie if I say eat a dirt cookie? Because it'll help you out with your alkalinity in your body? You see? Okay, and this is him, Dr. Cyrille Cohen, talking on the behavioral science behind the Green Pass. You have also to understand that the Green Pass is not necessarily, and that's not a secret, it's not necessarily to prevent transmission. It's also to encourage people to get vaccinated. And I do want to touch upon the political aspects of the Green Pass, but this is a reality. On the risks and rewards of herd immunity. Herd immunity is a consequence for me. It's not an objective. It's not a goal. There is a thin nuance here, if I may say, that people have to grasp. I'm not saying to people, go and get infected. I don't think that is a model that we need to adopt. And he speaks on Israeli school closure. There is one mistake I think that we have made, and that I'm extremely sorry for that. We have made a few mistakes, but it was education. And for me, education was the thing we shouldn't have touched. Never, never. It's his words. Wasn't bad enough to close all them schools down and stuff. Businesses alike. On the acceleration from pandemic to endemic. I think it's going to be like flu. I think there's going to be bad waves and better waves. And if I may, the flu does that. Bad waves and mediocre waves. It takes good, healthy people out because maybe the fever got too high and it germinated some underlying condition within and made you real, real bad. Sick in a bad way. And then some people can shake it off. That's what happens. Let me read back from the beginning of that. I think it's going to be like the flu. I think there's going to be bad waves and better waves, with a better immunity at the level of the population, with better vaccines, with better treatment in that sense. And I'm extremely cautious. There is a possibility that Omicron will accelerate that transition. On vaccine mandates, I think that vaccination is a personal choice, and I always say I believe it is so. But that choice has some consequences, and this guy is right. It does. And let those people, let those people reap the fruit they choose to reap. But that choice of being vaccinated or non-vaccinated comes with consequences. And here there's a problem in society. If you are over 50, 60 and you're saying, I don't want to get vaccinated, will you be, and I'm going to ask a provocative question, will you be willing to renounce on the possibility of getting taken care of in hospitals if you choose to be unvaccinated? Hey, that's right there. There's a reaction to an action. If people don't want to get it, pay the consequences if it comes to that. If you do want to get it, pay the consequences that comes with that too. Whether it be great for yourself in the future or not good for you in the future. It's got consequences. He's right. So I'll leave a link to this article and y'all can read it for yourself because I just kind of touched base on it. But there's an audio of the entirety of the interview. That was just some of the high points of it that was written out here on this website, and I read it to you. Maybe that'll help somebody out to get over their fear, maybe. And think a little bit. So what I want you to do is to be a self-thinker. Don't believe things that are exciting and entertaining to you on the news. Oh, that sounds good. Oh, that sounds like we might have to cook marshmallows and a baked potato on the Dutch oven tonight. The power's going to go out. Everybody wants something exciting until it happens. So take that for what it's worth. I'll leave a link to the article in the description. Till next time.